Go
All
ahead.
right. Welcome to the third installment of Not Patriot Digest. Correct, Dougie?
I believe you are correct, sir. Yes.
Yes. So tonight we got a couple things we want to talk about. We want to talk about Devers, Bregman, the Casas GM that the Red Sox have now. Casas is now a GM. We got Four Nations. We got the debacle of an All-Star game for the NBA. Two organizations going in two different directions.
All in 20 minutes.
All in 20 minutes.
Yep. Get them up, boys. Got my Snapple.
I like the Snapple.
I got water.
Come on, man.
And we lost Rick.
So Rick, I actually want to get your take on this for being, a career baseball guy.
Baseball guy.
It seems like Red Sox management just flat out did not have a conversation with Devers before they signed Bregman.
Well, I have a totally different take on it. I don't think they had any intention of not that he's gonna have to play third every day or whatever. He could DH. They're gonna maybe bounce and rub it. We'll see what happens, but I firmly believe they always plan to have Bregman play second base. They don't have a second baseman. They're talking about the kid who played 1 month of AAA last year. I'm like, and they're going to be an everyday second baseman in the major leagues all of a sudden this year. I mean, maybe. I hope so. I hope the kid's that good. But and you also, we talked about this before. You gonna have Massa not play at all?
If I was him, I want to be traded.
What?
If I was Massa, I'd want to be traded.
Well, they'd love to trade him, but no one's going to take him. You got to get him in a package, But my point is, I said this the last time. You can't just say he's like, I don't even know what these guys are talking on TV. So they're gonna piss off Devers, which Devers can DH. He can still DH 50% of the time. If they've got this good rookie middle infielder, which it's going to cost them money down the road if he starts right away, by the way, and then you're going to completely bury Massa, I don't even know what they're talking about. It's complete fabrication. It's just them trying to get talking points. And the other part is, frankly, if I'm Devers, I'd say the same thing. It's my job.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to go, oh, yeah, great, I'm just going to DH now. The kid doesn't want to DH. He's young. If that's where it goes, that's where it goes. But what's he supposed to say? Oh, yeah, no problem. I just want to DH.
I was telling Dougie, I saw a thing with Lou Merlone, because Lou Merlone likes to talk about stuff like this. He goes, Lou Merlone's like, it's not about the errors. He only had 12 errors last year. He said it's about the range. His range isn't nearly as good as Bregman's. And that's where it hurts.
No double. My father was commenting to me last night. My father knows baseball way better than any of those guys. And he said, who cares? What does a third baseman truly at the end of the day impact the game? What? 5 runs a year? 6?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, worry about that your middle infield can't turn a double play for the last 3 years.
Yeah, well, who was the guy that played short last year? Not Raffaello, but the other guy. Who's the
Hamilton kid? Was it Hamilton?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, he's on the roster.
Probably on the roster, but he stinks too. I mean, it's like, so you get much bigger issues to worry about Devers playing defense at third. And his defense shows flashes of that. If he gets in a funk, he gets in a funk. But at the end of the day, you would take a corner serviceable third baseman who hits absolute rockets every day of the week. You had to have Ortiz being basically an everyday DH because he couldn't play anywhere.
Right.
He was an absolute liability. Devers is not a liability. He's an average, though, at best, defensive third baseman in the major leagues.
Statistically, he's the worst.
Well, by what? Where'd you get that number?
It's he has the most errors.
No, what are the numbers on it? He plays every day.
12 errors last year, I think is what you said earlier, Coach.
Yeah, but I think over the last, 5 years, he's got like 140 something errors, and Bregman's got like 30.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know, but my point is, let's say he made 20 errors over the course of 100, and he's playing there 140 games. It's like it doesn't. It's not how you win and lose. Basically, defense is important. Middle infield defense is important. But like I said, I like the flexibility that you can rush him a little bit. He can play some DH for you. But I think this has become a dumb story, frankly.
Okay.
You're not going to pay Rafael Devers the money he's making at his age to be the rest of his life a DH. That would be organizational stupidity.
Well, that was my question. Like, so they're like, everybody on, the talk radio is like, what's the big deal? And so this stuff. And it's like, so what? Bregman comes in for a year, maybe two, plays third. And now they're just going to say, oh, Rafi, go back to third when Rafi signed for 10 years.
Look, 1,000%. I mean, long term, I think he's a first baseman. I think he'd be a good first baseman.
So when would you start? Because he's 28 going on 29. So when would you start that?
Well, it just depends on your situation. I mean, it just depends. It depends on how he's doing. How's that? What you have as a team. But, like I said, short term, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But I just would be, like I said, I'd be shocked organizationally if they just say you're a DH from now on. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy to me.
I don't put it past the organization just because they are paying him $40 million. Maybe they're going to try to stretch their buck as far as they can.
Well, if you look at it, I mean, I agree with you saying, Rick. I totally agree with you. It makes a lot of sense. But if you look at it from a practical standpoint, you have a gold glove third baseman who's not going to play third. It seems, if you go by the money, you're paying $40 million a year to a guy
for a second baseman
who's a gold glove third baseman that is not playing the position. So logically, that doesn't really make sense either, right? But I do agree with what you're saying. For the betterment of the team, for the longevity of it, for the total real impact. It's not like he's a shortstop. It's a big difference.
Well, Bregman was also he was a shortstop in college. I think I told you
at LSU, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying, like from a practicality standpoint,
left side. I mean, he'll go on that side, no problem, and you could save a. It's a different type position to play second. Everything's not right on you. You're not making nearly as many charge plays. You have more action, no doubt, but you could save some wear and tear in the legs over there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't need as big of a range. Your arm, same thing. It's not as big a strain on the arm, right?
Yeah, it's far less strain on the arm. It's just a matter of he has it. The big thing for him is, which he's good enough defensively, is just how good he looks turning two. That's the adjustment. It's a massive adjustment.
So he doesn't care. He said all the right things for sure when they had him in there. Yeah, whatever the team needs me to do, I'm going to do.
Yeah, you're the highest paid player of the team, obviously.
I've always won. I'm going to continue to win. I like that.
I just look at it that for my end of it, Guerrero didn't sign, and I would sell my soul to get him in a trade with Toronto.
Would you go Casas Devers for him?
You could, to be honest. I don't think they'd take that, but I think that they would. If you could go, I would go if you could ever get them to take Massa and you eat some of the money, send him up there, get Casas. And I'd give him a big-time prospect. Big-time prospect, and that's the way it goes. If it's one of those studs. You bring him in with that lineup now,
you'd have to re-sign him right away, I would think.
Yeah, you'd have to know before the deal. You don't know what the numbers are, but I'll be shocked if he re-signs with Toronto. So Toronto should want to get something. And so the Sox supposedly have the best farm system in baseball.
Rated number 1, baby.
Yep, get Casas. He's an everyday. He's their first baseman, no problem. I'd send him Abreu. They're both cheap. They don't care. They're both serviceable players. Make him take some of Massa's money and bring him into town and give him one of the big prospects. And as long as you know you can sign him, love it. Love it.
The deadline of
Now
spring training.
you've got the best corners in baseball. Now, defensively, granted, we just talked about Devis, but as far as age and what you have at those positions in the corner, left-right combo, oh, mercy.
Yeah, Vlad turns 26 in a month.
Exactly. Right. Give him whatever he wants.
Well, that's Yankee-like, and they won't do it.
We'll see.
I mean, you'll put definitely, if you do that, you'll put some asses in the seats up there at those uncomfortable seats at Fenway.
Oh, my God. Imagine that team with that roster going in.
Crazy.
Speed up front, some good young talent. And then you got, Howard, you got Guerrero, Devis, Bregman. You can go left, right, left. Hopefully Story doesn't get hurt.
No chance.
That's an interesting club. I'll tell you that.
I like it.
They said Crochet through 99 today in his pen.
Love it. All right, so we're on a little bit of a time crunch here. So Rick, I was actually talking with Coach a little bit earlier. How bad of a product is the NBA?
Oh well, it's. I love watching I love watching the Celtics regular season. Personally.
But like the All Stars.
Oh, you mean the All Star thing?
It's all as far as I'm concerned. Take fucking 10 days off. Don't even put a product out there because it's god awful.
It's just a TV production.
It's god awful. And then you're gonna have all this. And then LeBron's not gonna play. He's not gonna say he's not gonna play till an hour before game time, and people are up in arms. They're paying fucking $1,000 for a seat because it might be his last All-Star game and just all this other shit.
Yeah, but there's nothing at stake. So why would anybody go to it and dig in on defense?
No, but you can I don't think defense-wise, it just says, hey.
Did you see the new format this year? I thought it would be a little better, but at least it was a little more interesting.
I didn't watch 1 second. Didn't watch 1 second of it.
No, I didn't.
So they picked 4 teams. So they drafted 4 different teams, and it was they played. The games were there was a game at 8, one of the semis, game at 9, the other semi, and then the finals at 10. So it was a first to 41. So at least it gave a little bit of, it was sort of like playing without defense for the most part. A few guys played pretty hard. Wembanyama played hard, but it was basically, playing 21 down the park type game.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think it's funny because it's like you do that, and then all of a sudden you see what the NHL is doing and is able to do with the 4 nations, and it's just blowing the NBA out of the water.
Yeah, but it's a completely different scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that in the NBA. Who are they going to play? Who's the next best team?
USA versus Europe.
Well, you could do that, but you still think all those guys, like the European guys, are going to be that. I mean, the hockey's totally different. I mean, these guys, you're a Swede. Never mind if the Russians were in it. There are legitimately 5 programs. I mean, Christ, Finland almost came back in the game in the game against Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, but that goes back World Juniors. I mean, think of it this way, right? The United States, how many times have they won a big into an Olympics or huge? The world, like basically the World Cup type thing. How many times?
Not many.
Not many.
No, I mean it's like, and they're still like one of the best teams. They can go play and beat Canada and play. It's just a different. It's just it doesn't. I think it could be an more interesting game and see what came of it. Would be if you said maybe the All-Star game was, to your point, Coach. U.S. versus the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and maybe that could spark a little. But they're still going to grab ass. There's not enough at stake. There's not enough national pride on the line. I mean, I don't blame them. Why would you? McAvoy's freaking bang.
He's in the hospital.
I know. I mean, you're like, there's a lot of GMs holding their breath during this thing. Now they know it's been one of the greatest. The NBA doesn't need that to promote the NBA. That's the difference. For the NHL, this Four Nations thing. For the NHL, this Four Nation thing has been unbelievable, building their brand, unbelievable.
So with the Four Nations, would you? And I don't know if you can. Would you expand it to 6, have Russia and somebody else, or would you cut Sweden or Finland and put Russia in?
Well, Russia would be in automatically. Russia's a huge loss in this whole thing.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, would you expand it to put Russia in, or would you kick out Sweden?
No, well, the whole issue is going to be because they're calling an international tournament.
Yeah.
And Russia's not allowed to play an international playing because of the sanctions on Ukraine.
Yeah.
So if Ukraine was out of the equation, Russia will, when they do this again, which I'm certain they will, Russia will be there. But
then you have to have a 6-team, or could you do a 5-team?
Yeah, well, you'd have to figure out. I mean, you would do it, to your point, Coach. I think it was, we talked about this quick, the total amount of players from each country playing the NHL.
Yeah, and the Czechs would be the next team in, based on the numbers.
Did you little off top, but like, did you hear what they asked Marchand
about being booed in his own building?
No, about like, the Four Nations is getting a lot of juice. Can you take some of this? Can the Bruins players take some of this from this tournament? Kind of extend it into the regular season. And he just paused for a second. He goes, "Yeah, I'm not thinking about that right now."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been pretty cool. But in the other part, though, it's interesting how the format played out, though, because for a fan on my end, I hated the 1 and 8 o'clock starts.
Yeah.
Thought that was brutal. I'd rather have there be a championship site, and like you would have had a bracket in Canada and a bracket in Boston and do that. But the 1 and 8 o'clock starts stunk. Them being like an NFL format would have promoted the league way better. And plus, they weren't even starting the games until like 8:30, the late game. So it ended up being like a 1:30. They said it was 1 and 8, but they did all their pregame stuff for a half hour and then started. But if you
why would you do that? Just to have enough room to like clear out the locker rooms and put everything back in? And
two gates.
Well, the issue is, Doug, was the fact they're 2 separate tickets.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. If you have 2 different venues, it doesn't matter.
Correct.
So it's 2 different tickets. They want a buffer to get everybody out, clean the stadium,
yeah,
and then get everybody, have people be coming back in. So they wanted to have enough room. I think it was a massive mistake, though, because if you were from, if you had that like a beanpot tournament format, awesome. But I get it. They needed to have 2 different ticket sales. You probably didn't have to, but it really changes who was going to go to the, certain people going or not. But
yeah, I mean, I think they get more money from. I mean, the gate's one thing, but like, by the way, does that gate go to Jacobs? Probably.
But they were also like, it was like my whole thing was like crazy late. It was like 8:30. What are we doing?
Crazy.
I know you want to be in prime time, but I mean, it's the NHL. Get as many viewers on as you can. Get kids stay up; they can watch. That's what you want. I don't know. Yeah. That's the only thing that I would tweak. And the other thing that was a little bit disappointing is that, the United States game was last night.
Holy shit.
Didn't mean anything.
On StubHub right now, the cheapest ticket available for USA Canada is $758.
Yeah, it's crazy. The thing is, so the game tomorrow night, though, it's a big switch in momentum. We got McAvoy's out. Although Hughes is coming back in. Did you see that, Rick?
Yeah, but I think that he can't play unless someone else gets hurt.
Oh, I thought he was playing. And then
But I know he's there working out. I'm not 1,000%, but the rule, like, they didn't, from what I haven't heard the official rule, but my understanding is it's sort of like having that,
he wasn't on the roster day one. That's what it was, right?
huh?
He wasn't like on the roster as part of the
Correct.
tournament.
So you can,
Yeah.
there must be something written in the agreement of the teams that if you know, you can't, they don't want him stuck with playing just three defensemen or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean,
But
so you can have, it's sort of like having that extra goalie, you know, the guy that in the NHL game.
Swayman.
I know, like in the NHL, you don't have that one day of the guy who can come in as the third goalie for
Oh,
either
the guy
team.
in the stands, the accountant. Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's the case.
We are at our 20-minute mark, boys.
All right, and a big
Final
switch,
thoughts.
though. Yeah, final thoughts are on a big switch of momentum. I think Canada's got the edge because Makar is back. He wasn't in there the first game, and McAvoy's out, which is a big physical presence on that team in the first game. So I don't know. And plus you got banged up Kachuks, and you got a banged up Matthews. So I mean, I don't know. Do you give the edge to Canada?
Even money right now.
Yeah.
Both teams, even across the board.
What do you like, Rick? USA.
I think I really think in this one, Mac, it's all on Hellenbuck. Hellenbuck's got to stand on his head even more than the first game.
Well, that to me
I
is
just
a
think
difference.
that, you know, there's obviously, you know, there's going to be the feistiness with the Kachuks and everybody, but it's not going to start out. I'll be shocked
No.
with a fight or anything like that and getting things going. It's to me, it's. I think they're both they're fairly evenly matched. They're evenly matched, but this is strictly in the goaltending. If Bennington lays an egg, they win. But Hellenbeck's got, you know, if Bennington shows up, then I like him. But Hellenbeck's tough, man. He's tough. He's tough.
Yeah, he's good. I said that to Patrick before the thing even started. I said it's going to come down to goaltending, and the Canadians don't have the goaltending US does. That was my prediction. So what do you think, Doug?
I think it's gonna tough to. I think Canada. I think it's gonna be tough to beat the Canadians.
I'm going to put a wager on it. I think.
Ooh, couple shekels.
I've been killing the golf, Dougie.
The bank of Patty. Can she approve it?
No, I don't have to. I got my own little kitty now because of my golf bets. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you just do the final, right?
I do the final round this week. This week I bet $10. I won 55. It's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
All right, boys. Not Patriot Digest is wrapping up. We'll have the full show later on in the week, but always good to get together and, you know, talk about the day's immediate subjects that need to be talked about.
Right here.
Let's go. Yeah, it'll be fun Thursday. We get the game on Thursday night after
That's
we're
right.
going to do the pod, so it'll be fun. Might be able to do a reel or something during the game, and everybody get through this dead period because there's absolutely nothing on TV right now for sports.
I know.
Then it'll be nothing but draft talk forever.
The last time. So when USA played Canada, McAvoy had 5 hits in that game, which I'm pretty sure is more hits he's had in any single game he's ever played with the Bruins.
It's more hits he's had all year. Yes. All right, so let's wrap it up. Too.
Not Patriots Digest episode number 3 in the books. We'll be back Thursday with a full big and small podcast episode, if you will. And then we'll talk about the conclusion of the 4 nations. NBA starting back up after their All-Star break. And
little Patriots off-season talk.
Yeah.
Like it.
All right, boys. Get them up. I got nothing to get up.
All right, talk to you guys later.
See you Thursday.